England, Australia, as far as I'm concerned, they're the test matches.
Well, I think it all comes back more on the fact that there is definitely a war that goes on out in the middle. It's been going on now for 100 years.
An England-Australia series is the one, and you seem to try that much harder against England than anybody else.
Neither side gives the other side very much, and therefore it is very, very pleasant to have this opportunity to meet some of the greats of the past, which I have done during the last few days.
I personally am delighted to be here. It's a wonderful thing, and in fact, I expect some others have told you, one met people on the plane one hadn't seen before for years and years.
It's been a wonderful experience to come back and see these old players.
And then to see Larwood and these people in the flesh, it's been amazing.
It's been a terrific experience for me, and whoever put this show on, whoever organised it, I think the Queen, when she's here, should give him a medal.
The first test was played on the Melbourne Cricket Ground 1877, but it wasn't until I was just browsing through looking for something, I've forgotten what it was now, but doing some research, that I saw this date again, and then all of a sudden I realised that it was only 4 years away, and I thought, well then it's about time someone did something about it. And as the Melbourne Cricket Club took a leading part in the first test in 1877, I thought we should take the lead in staging some celebration for the centenary test to be in March 1977.
"100 years of Test cricket, and many of the game's greatest players are here in Melbourne to celebrate the centenary of the first Test match, which started at the Melbourne Cricket Ground on the 15th of March 1877.
Qantas announces the arrival of QF2 from London via Singapore.
This is your flight service director. Qantas hopes that the former England cricketers here for the centenary test enjoy their stay in Melbourne.
And coming off Qantas Flight 2, the first arrival, and welcome to Melbourne, sir, to Mr. Percy Fender. Nice to see you here in Melbourne. It's wonderful to have you here for the centenary test.
Thank you.
Percy Fender, who played in 1920-21, the oldest member of the English party, and gentleman coming on behind him, Les Ames, who was the wicket-keeper, and the only wicket-keeper, I believe, in first-class cricket to score 100 hundreds. And I think you were out here last year, sir.
I was, and the year before, too.
Yes.
Yes.
A man who's been to Australia more often than anybody else, I think, is Colin Cowdrey. Colin, I think this is your trip number, what, 7 or 8, is it?
7, that's right, thank you.
Not this time as a player.
That's right, no, very pleased to be here, thank you.
What of the news that Tomo's broken down? I suppose that when you saw you... And coming up now is a former captain of England, and I think sometimes Ted Dexter, you often fly light aircraft rather than travel on Qantas.
Well, I used to, but it's got rather expensive these days.
Mike Deness, who captained England in the last tour of Australia, and Mike, we've made the mention here that you actually captained England to its last win over Australia in Melbourne. This was in 1975.
That's right, in 75. It's a long time ago now, really.
That's 2 years back.
Yes, it is.
I
think probably what we'll be looking for this time is Tony Gregg's side trying to do a similar reaction as we did in that 6th Test match.
And here's a great personality, Godfrey Evans, and can't shake hands. Now, Godfrey, you've acquired a bit of a beard since you were last in Australia.
Oh, is this a beard?
Or sideburns.
Yes. Well, you've got to do that, you know, because otherwise they would think I was as young as I used to be.
And so the players are all off the flight now, and it's, again, it's a wonderful occasion to see these great cricketers, all of them who are available to come, a maximum number, and they're here in Melbourne for the centenary test.
On arrival at Melbourne Airport, a special TAA coach will be available to take the former Test cricketers and umpires to your official hotel. TAA offers best wishes for a memorable visit during the centenary test.
And here's the group coming from the flight from Adelaide, and some great personalities in the game here. We see Clary Grimmett. Welcome to Melbourne, Clary. Nice to see you here. Sir Donald and Lady Bradman here too. Nice to see you. Yes, Phil Ridings, Australian selector. Mel McGuinness. And in the flight we have, in fact, 5 Australian umpires, I believe. This is the total here. One of the great personalities to come across with the South Australian team is C.E. Nip Kalu, who played in the 100th Test, from my memory, in 1921.
That's right. In those days, just after the war, it was only 3-day matches.
Yes.
So you couldn't muck about. You had to get runs,
yes,
but you didn't want to lose at the same time. So it became very interesting, but we had such a good side that I think in the end, of course, we didn't have any trouble in winning the Ashes.
Of all the personalities to arrive from Adelaide, I think the most popular is Clary Grimmett. Well, we can make a comment about your first test, Clary. Can you go back to it? Against
Yes, I
England?
think I can. I've got a picture at home of Frank Woolley, the first victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the match, from my memory, you took about 11 wickets.
I got 11 for 82, I think, altogether
Yeah.
in the match.
Well, you'd never forget that. And this is the biggest flight from New South Wales. And gentlemen, welcome to Melbourne on behalf of TAA. And in the front seat, we've got two of the greatest personalities of the game, Hunter Stork-Henry from New South Wales and Harold Larwood from England. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it very much indeed.
And
Renewing old acquaintance and meeting new ones.
What about your travelling companion over there,
Oh,
Harold?
well, he's of no compromise.
Very quiet. I'm looking forward to it very much.
Played this fella 51 years ago, Harold.
Yes?
Yes.
And who got who out?
Oh, well, we won't say.
Down the plane, Graham Thomas, Ted Wykes, Frank Misson, the Archer brothers, Neil Harvey, the Australian selector. How's it going, Neil? Colin McCool. It's a great experience for you to come down here to see some old mates.
Oh, it is indeed. It's a long time no see.
Now, the last contingent to arrive here in Melbourne are from Queensland. And first of all, we see just climbing up the plane is Ray Linville. Ray, nice to see you and welcome to Melbourne. It's going to be a great occasion.
Thank you very much, Norm.
Ken Slasher Mackay, nice to see you in Melbourne again.
Good.
Great
to be here.
I suppose Melbourne brings back some memories for you.
Yes, certainly. Especially 58-59 series against England when we won that test match here. It was the way back for Australia.
And here's a man who qualifies for this match on 2 counts. It's Greg Chappell, the Australian captain. You could hear as a former player and as a modern player, Greg.
That's right.
Which ticket are you going to use to get into the ground?
I think as a former player, the way I feel at the moment.
A man who played cricket before and after the war was Bill Brown. It's nice to see you here, Bill.
Thank you, Norman. It's lovely to be down here.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tremendous week, I'm sure of that.
The management and staff of the Melbourne Hilton extend a special welcome to all the former players and umpires who are here in Melbourne for the Centenary Test. We look forward to making your stay enjoyable for the next 10 days.
In all, there are 218 visitors, and of the former players, 79 have represented England. The official sponsor for the Centenary Test is the Benson and Hedges Company, and the total prize money, $15,000, is the highest for a test match in Australia. England's team arrives at the Victorian Cricket Association reception, and here are the famous Bedser twins. Bobby Simpson and Bill Lawry, and there's Davo. Keith Miller and Ray Linville, Brian Statham and Frank Tyson, 2 old-timers, Bill O'Reilly and Clary Grimmett, and the Middlesex twins, Dennis Compton, Bill Edrich.
We are the original test match enemies, but when the battles are over, we can get together, enjoy a drink, discuss the game, and enjoy one another's company. And that is what makes a test match between Australia and England something very special for both countries. I think the remarkable thing that will come out of this centenary test will be the wonderful friendships that are renewed. May this test match be not only an historic one, but also a memorable one, played in the true traditions of English-Australian tests, whatever that may mean.
Saturday, the 12th of March, 1977. A crowd which grew later to 61,000 watches the opening ceremony. Both teams are lined up on the field, and here are the former England captains ranging in age from the 70s to the late 20s. Australian-born Gabby Allen needs a walking stick these days. Freddie Brown coming through the gate, followed by Sir Leonard Hutton and Peter May, and finally Colin Cowdrey and Ted Dexter. Here's Jack Ryder leading out the Australian contingent, and there's a wonderful thing right behind him, Sir Donald Bradman, who's here, and Jack Ryder, of course, what an occasion for him. The eldest test player, he played in 1920-21. See Ian Johnson just a couple back there, the secretary of this ground, and Lindsay Hassett, of course, the well-known ABC commentator now. So Jack Ryder, listen to the ovation these men will get. Richie Benno there. I don't think there has been a gallery or lineup of talent, of cricket talent like that in the history of the game.
I would doubt it very, very much indeed. What great names.
And as the players are all in position now, the former captains are there, and we await Mr. Bob Parrish to step up to the microphone after the appropriate fanfare.
And here goes.
The Australian Cricket Board has been able to bring to Melbourne to join with us in celebrating this centenary of Test cricket between England and Australia. More than 200 great players of previous years. On the 15th of March 1877, the first Test match between England and Australia commenced on this ground. This will be the 226th Test match between our two countries. It will certainly be a test to remember, and just as certainly a test of memories. And may I hand to you, Greg Chappell, this gold commemorative medallion with which to toss, and to wish you and Tony Greig, both of them, the best of luck, and may we have good cricket.
To the middle of the pitch they go. Now they'll have a look at this before the toss, and we're standing by now for this all-important toss.
It's all yours, right? Right, you can have it, right? Well done. Thank you very much. Good game.
Play will start in just 10 minutes' time. The umpires are scheduled to arrive on the field in 5 minutes. So now, before the players come out, we'll have the opportunity of introducing a former England player, Jeff Boycott, and he will be talking now to Frank Tyson.
Jeff, interesting decision of Tony Greig's. Won the toss and decided to bowl.
I hope he doesn't live to regret it in this great occasion match. And I think it basically stems from the fact that England is worried about its batting. They're so worried about the batting that they put Amis down to 4. They've got Fletcher at 5, who's never done very well against Australia in the last couple of series. And I think all in all, they're a little bit frightened that Lilly will get into them fairly quickly. And all right, they may say that on the bonus side for England, that John Lever's bowled very well in India. Bob Willis and Chris Hole have supported him well in India. But even so, I think it's a step which he may live to regret.
And as the Australian openers come out, it's good morning here in Melbourne to make his maiden appearance on ABC television. Jim Laker. Good morning, Jim.
Thank you very much, Norman. So there's Ian Davis. My first look at Ian Davis to receive the first ball of this really momentous game from John Lever, coming in here over the wicket to him. Away, leading Fletcher and off the pad. I think it's a leg by signal. So the first score going on the board, but no run yet from the bat. That was a useful ball.
Watch this for the movement off the wicket as we watch it again on video disc. Good delivery, just short of a length. Now it goes away from the bat there.
Good runs there. Pushed away, wider mid-on. Derek Randall there as the fieldsman as Davis opens his account with a couple of runs. Now there's an interesting character that I'm quite sure Australian crowds have a lot of amusement for. Brilliant fielder, possibly one of the best that we've turned out in the home country in the last few years. And he's given him out, and the first wicket down. John Lever strikes with the score on 11, and Davis the man to go, out for 5.
I want you to notice how Davis really doesn't go forward or back. He's playing very much across. I beg your pardon, he goes back further than I thought, and that makes it a pretty easy decision for umpire Brooks to make, because he was well back.
Now we've got 3 slips and 2 gullies. The batsman leg slip being totally dispensed with, and Lever comes in, bowled his first ball to Cozy. He got that to lift quite sharply, and Cozy, although he's not paying much attention, must have taken a fairly hard crack there. So Willis again. Sean, he's pulled it on.
Hit him in the face.
He's hit him in the face, he's dragged it onto his wicket. McCosker looks as though he's got a nasty cut there. It seems as though he's spitting out some blood, and the England players immediately call in for somebody to come on and give him some treatment.
Yes, that looks to be a nasty one. Let's see if we can determine where it hits McCosker. McCosker going for the hook, fails to move sufficiently in the line and inside the line, and takes a blow, I would say, about on the cheek. It goes onto his hand and then he drags it down onto his stumps. Well, that was a most unlucky dismissal. Well, that is a bad beginning for Australia. 2 wickets down for 13. In comes Greg Chappell.
He's on his way in now to Greg Chappell, and getting a roar as he comes in. Bowling a pretty good one on line to start with.
Oh, very good at least.
First runs for the Australian captain, pushed away nicely past Amos in the gully. Well, that's a great shot, and gets the first boundary of the morning. Small lever again, Cozier facing. That's a short one, hooked high in the air, it's out, Fletcher's underneath it, and he's caught it, and John Lever struck again.
And now, David Hooks. And the first run to Hooks. And loud applause from the crowd. He's through for a single. Chappell is 3 for 27. And that's a fine shot. The run before, they've taken 2. Going for 3, Randall Feeling. And down towards the third man boundary, it's going to be, oh yes, the ball racing across the outfield, and into the fence it goes. And a great shot, beautiful shot, what a magnificent drive. It's getting out towards the long boundary, they'll run about 5 if they want to, but it's going slowly into the fence, and what a brilliant shot.
That was a glorious shot. We'll watch 5 days perhaps of Test cricket here, but we won't see a better shot than that. Look at that. It's absolutely copybook.
They'll play on with Old to bowl to Hooks. Well, that's out. Yes, he's caught. Caught by Greg at second slip, so Hooks caught Greg, bowled Old for 17. Australia at 4 for 45.
That ball rose quite sharply from just short of a length. It was not pitched particularly short, but you could see it rise very high, and Hooks followed it up, fended at it. The ball caught the outside edge.
And square, they're going to be runs here. Chase for Woolmer, and Walters will get 2. And that's Australia's 50 up. They've struggled and battled to get there, but they're 4 for 50. 50 runs taking 1 hour and 35 minutes. Up in the air it goes. He caught. Who's underneath it is Greg, and he's out. Yes, Walters is out. Bad shot. Walters caught Greg, bowled Willis for 4. Chappell is not out 6. Australia 5 for 51. A real collapse. Play after lunch. Old to Marsh. And down the ground. Good shot. No need to run. Again. Tremendous power in that shot. Right under the sideboard, straight as a die. A fine shot, that one from Greg Chappell. Not perfect timing. Hit it more into the ground. It may have reached the fence, but Lever had time to get around. He'll get 2. And there's a good throw. It's good cricket. And that's a typical Chappell shot. He's placed it perfectly through mid-wicket. And they'll come back for 2, and that's the 100 up for Australia. 5 for 101 with Chappell moving slowly to 20.
And that's a chance. And it's taken, brilliantly caught there by Alan Knott. That's a brilliant catch by Tony Greig. Is that out? Yes, it's up goes the umpire's fingers.
first aggressive shot of that nature we've seen for a couple of hours. Underwood bowled him. Chappell has been bowled for 40 by Underwood. Has bowled, it's all over. All out 138.
Much to the joy of Derek Underwood, who cleans up the Australian innings and finishes with the fine figures of 3 for 16. And I think I'm right in saying that Greg Chappell's wicket was his 250th in Test matches.
So well done by England to get Australia all out for 138. Here's Bill Jacobs.
One of the features of this centenary test, so ably promoted by the Victorian Cricket Association, will be during the course of the days of play to have interviews with stars of the past. In other words, stroll down memory lane. And who better to commence with than Jim Laker, the man who took 19 wickets in a test match against Australia.
Well, I've said over the years that the most startling thing about that particular game of cricket was the fact that Tony Locke only took a single wicket. And if that match was replayed a million times over, it could never happen again. It was one of those occasions when everything went right for me and nothing, of course, went right for Tony Locke. And I suppose these days it would be akin to somebody like Derek Underwood playing under similar conditions and bowling 70 overs and only taking 1 wicket. It just really isn't on.
It's Wheeler and Warmer coming out to open, and the innings about to start.
Lily's bowling from the northern end, so it would appear that he's going to bowl into the breeze.
Well, I don't think the ball justified the rule. It was about fast medium, that one. Well, that was a much faster ball, but there's a run there, perhaps maybe 2. They've taken 1, and they're going back for a second. So Warmer is 2.
He's guided that successfully and square on the offside. That'll be a couple of runs in it for him. That's a short one and hooked quite nicely by Woolmer, and that goes through for the first boundary of this England innings. Is that it? Yes, it's carried and he's gone, and Lilly snapped up the first wicket, that of Bob Woolmer. Caught it slip with the total on 19.
There's the sneak, watch it go very low to right. Chappell down he goes, catches very cleanly. There's one thing that I think a great feature today, apart from the bad batting of Australia, is the fine fielding on both sides.
And here it is, Derek Underwood coming in as night watchman.
Mr. Maury Gibb, the Assistant Secretary, has just handed me the figures for today. 61,316 spectators here. Way to get a 4.
Got that away down to fine leg. Should just go through to the fence and barely gets 4 runs.
They're coming off. Must be the light. Dull light.
So they're ready to resume tomorrow morning with Brearley on 12 and Underwood on 5. Total standing on 29 for the loss of 1 wicket.
One of our better days, I think. It's great to start the test match, especially this test match, like this, but I don't think you want to really sort of rest on your laurels and think it's going to happen again. We've still got a lot of work to do in this test match, but it's nice to start this way.
I thought it was a brilliantly executed plan. Obviously, it was a tight line and length bowling thing to be backed up by good fielding.
I thought the bowlers did a great job. They did, as you say, stick to their length and line. They didn't overuse the bouncer. When they used it, they tried to make it count. And we got a few out that way as well. I think it was a great all-round performance in the field. I'm very happy.
The start of the second day. Kezia in place. Yeah, that's a run because there's no fieldsman there. A chase down for Kezia, and Underwood scores the first one of the day. He is 6. Brearley is 12. England 1 for 30. And he's fought for that one. That was the first one that's gone through, and really not too good at all that time.
Very close, a beautiful delivery. Matter of fact, this is a very good over from Dennis, because, as I say, that wicket looks plumb easy to me, but he's getting plenty of zip out of it, even in this very first over.
And chance and caught, yes, by Hooks. Well, a great breakthrough for Australia. Really, the regular opener is out. Caught hooks, bowled Lilly for 12. 2 for 30, Lilly 2 for 11. Now the buzz of excitement round the ground. The new batsman in, Randall. Lilly still bowling his first over of the morning. Lilly to Randall.
Well, that is a good ball and very well played, considering it's his first appearance here. And, of course, he got that great roaring crowd, which would unnerve some batsmen.
Well left alone, and that completes the first over, and a great over too from Dennis Lilly.
That is clearly the best over Lilly has bowled in this short innings. Oh, well, there we go.
First run, yes. And this one's through. It's getting down towards the boundary. A chase for Walters. And the ball's going quickly across the outfield, but Walters might just get to it. It's going to be close. Yes, he will. And they come back for 3. And look at that throw. What a beautiful throw. Well, that's as good a return as I've ever seen. And chance, and he's got it. He's got it. Yes, he's out.
What a catch.
Greg Chappell again, a magnificent catch.
What a sensation. 2 wickets, 2 overs.
Here's Amos coming in, and he's almost coming in as an opener now. And chance dropped. That was dropped by Marsh. That's the first one that's been put down very hard, but Marsh got his glove to it. And he scored. Dropped. Yes, caught. No, he scored it. It went out of his, appeared to go out of his hand. O'Keefe got it. England 4 for 40. Both bowlers, Lilly and Walker, 2 for 16. So Walker to bowl to Fletcher. And to Peel for that. That must be terribly close.
Beautiful bowling by Walker, and Lilly, of course, coming in again.
Lilly to Randall. And that was a terrible looking shot, and he doffs his cap. He hung his bat out to dry. And that when he reached and he's caught behind, yes, he's out. England 5 for 40, Lilly 3 for 16. It's been an absolutely sensational morning. 4 wickets have fallen for 11 runs this morning, and it's been Dennis Lilly and Max Walker, each taking 2 wickets. Here's Tony Greig coming in at number 6, the captain of England. The atmosphere is absolutely electric at this ground, with a huge crowd to welcome Greig. It's a beautiful day in Melbourne, about 23 degrees. Fine shot. That's the best shot we've seen this morning. You can't fall for that. So Lilly to Greig. And a fine drive again. That's getting out towards the boundary. Look at the timing in that shot. That was a magnificent shot. Davis won't get it. And that's 2 of the best drives in the whole match we've seen this morning from Tony Greig. And that's the 50 up for England.
So something of a rally here. These 2 have put on 21 now. Most of them, of course, coming from Greig. And he's bowled him. That's the one that very often gets him. The in-swinging Yorker has caused Tony Greig more trouble than most balls ever delivered to him, and he's gone to it again. Out for 18, bowled by Max Walker, and that's the 6th wicket down with the score on 61.
Max Walker has bowled magnificently this morning, and that was one of the best in-swingers I think I've ever seen. So it's Alan Knott now.
And Alan Knott quickly off the mark, single pushed through the gap on the onside. And that's the chance. It looks as though it's taken by Marsh. A really beautiful catch there by the keeper. Thin outside edge. And Fletcher's the man to go.
Lilly now bowling with the southwesterly breeze. Really perhaps has not swung the ball very much in this particular game. He's made it go off the seam, but he'll be bowling across Old towards the slips.
And he's happy to go. Off like a shot, Chris Old. First ball, lifter, a little touch, caught behind. No problem at all for Dennis Lillee.
And he peeled the leg before. He's out. Lillee 5 for 25. Not leg before to Lillee for 15. 9 for 86. And a chance, he's out. It's all over. Marsh again, a brilliant catch. Marsh has taken 4 catches. England all out 95. Lever caught Marsh, bowled Lillee for 11. Lillee 6 for 26. One of the greatest performances of his career.
They're sending Marsh in as the hero. Look at that. Lillee standing back and letting Marsh go in.
And Rod Marsh has broken Wally Grout's keeping record with his 188th dismissal.
Well, we've seen 2 remarkable collapses in the first 2 days of this centenary test match. Tom, no doubt at some time in your career you've seen a collapse of this nature.
Oh, I think I took part in a very good one on this ground, actually. Davo took 3 wickets and an over in 58. I was the 3rd one, first ball.
How did you go out?
LBW, not playing a shot.
Any recriminations about that since then?
I tell you what, it was plumb out. I know that.
Well, there you see the 2 famous cricketers of yesteryear, Harold Lowett and Bill Vose, accompanied by the chairman of the Australian Cricket Board, Mr. Bob Parish, who's just applauding the 2 former great fast bowlers as they go out onto the centre wicket. Bill Vose, just taking his coat off, is about to bowl the over, I think. And just recalling to you the fact that these were the 2 great bowlers who helped win the 1932-33 series for England out here in Australia.
The best bowler I played against was Ray Lindwall. You know, he was a master at everything. Absolutely superb performer, and he didn't seem to have too much trouble getting me out.
The best bowler of his type in any country, not just in Anglo-Indian, Australia, was Alec Bedser. Alec was a perfect medium power. I didn't see Morris Tate, but apparently he was something similar. But Alec was always at the stumps, at you. You had to play almost every ball he bowled at you, and he was so good. Well, his record speaks for itself, actually. I thought he was the best bowler I faced against England.
Arthur Morris, some people had it that you were Alec Bedser's bunny. Do you subscribe to that?
Well, it certainly appeared that way, didn't it, Bill, as time went on. But the thing is, I suppose, in international cricket or in first-class cricket, I probably batted more against Alec than anybody else. It's interesting that I think I was perhaps... Alec took my wicket about 18 times, but he also took the fellow I opened with each time, took them 21 times. So I think I was probably in front.
The start of Australia's second innings, and it's O'Keefe opening with Davis in place of the injured McCosker. Lever to Davis. 1 run to Davis and 1 run to Australia. O'Keefe, who batted at number 9 in the first innings, playing here for the first time as an opener. And run straight away. That's in the air, it's going out towards the boundary. Amos is there, he's going to be very close, but it's into the fence for 4. But that's a hook shot again. O'Keefe facing Old. The chance, and he's caught by Willis, caught brilliantly. O'Keefe out for 14, Australia 1 for 35. Greg Chappell coming in at number 3. Old to bowl to Chappell. And he's bowled, clean bowled. Chappell out for 2, Australia 2 for 40. Kosier to face Old. Lever bowling to Kosier. It's straight up in the air, not getting underneath it. That must be a catch, and Kosier's out for the second time off the hook shot. Australia 3 for 53. Lever to Walters. And that's through the covers. It's racing out towards the boundary, and Walters opens his scoring with a boundary shot. Bowling to Walters. A chance, and he's dropped by Willis. Dropped. Walters at 16. Old to Davis. Down to the backward square leg area. There's no fieldsman there, and into the fence it goes for 4, and 3 for 104 at the end of the day. Australia 147 in front.
Well, yesterday was certainly a fantastic day for England, and today it was just all Australia.
Unbelievable, Richie. I must admit, in my wildest dreams, I didn't expect us to bowl them out for 95. It was a great performance. There's been some great bowling and some tremendous fielding, and I think that's been the main thing in the game, apart from perhaps the extra atmosphere or pressure. There seems to be, the batsmen on both sides have probably been a little bit tentative, and there's been some terrific bowling to top it off.
The third morning, Willis to bowl to Davis. Well, that's a beautiful shot. It's through the field. It's racing down towards the boundary. It could be 4 for Davis's 50, the first half century in the game. Lever to Davis. It's on the way again. Yes, it's beaten the field, and down to the boundary it goes for 4 more. Davis this time facing up to Gregg. It's a chance and caught by Knott. Davis is out for 68. Australia 4 for 132. Gregg to Hooks. And just falling short of the fieldsman. Walters facing Gregg. And that's coming down very fine to the fine leg boundary. There's no one near a fieldsman, a long way away from that, into the fence for 4. Old to Walters. And that's through the covers. This could be his 50. No chance of the fieldsman getting that. 50 to Doug Walters. Gregg to Hooks. And that's a good-looking shot. Straight down the ground, and a long chase for the fieldsman. That could be 4 as the ball rolls slowly into the fence. 4 to Hooks. Old bowling. Straight down the ground, just missing the stumps, and down it comes towards the sideboard. And it's 4 more to Walters. Hooks facing Lever. And 4th, the last ball before lunch to make the score 4 for 186. Australia 229 in front. But here's Gregg to Walters. A chance, and he's caught one-handed by Knott. A great catch. Walters 66, 5 for 187. And here's the replay. Remember that Walters was dropped at 16, and those extra 50 could have a big bearing on the ultimate result. Nice one-handed catch. Underwood to Marsh. And that's almost bowled him. Let's watch this from side on, how close this goes to the stumps. Look at that. Now Gregg is bowling to Hooks, spinners around the wicket. And down the ground it goes. That's a great shot. That's almost a 6. Over the fence, or hitting the fence on the first bounce. That was almost a 6 through extra cover. Hooks is 40, 5 for 227.
Hooks is certainly not frightened to hit the ball.
And he's got that round towards fine leg, a chase round for Underwood, and it's going to be close. Underwood will get to it. No, he won't. 4 more. Hooks is 44. And away it goes again. Beautiful shot. 3 in a row. And the young man on his first test is 48. 5 for 235.
Well, certainly if Hooks gets a 50 in this, his first test, it will be a notable milestone for him. Not only 50 in his first test, but a 50 in the centenary test.
And away it goes for his, could be his 50, out towards the boundary, a beautiful shot. 4 in a row. 4 fours off England's captain, 52 to David Hooks, a brilliant performance. A standing ovation right round this huge ground. And through again. It's racing out towards the boundary. It might get there. Let's see what happens. It's very close indeed, and the ball will win 5 in a row. Hooks from 36 to 56 in 5 balls. Australia 5 for 243. Well, that ends the sequence. He's out caught, yes, caught brilliantly at short leg by Fletcher. That was a wonderful catch. Hooks caught Fletcher, bowled Underwood for 56. A very fine effort.
And the crowd giving him a magnificent ovation now as this young fellow departs the scene. What a superb innings. I'm sure we've seen a champion of the future.
Underwood to Marsh. And that's beaten the field. It's racing out towards the boundary, 3 point. 4 to Rod Marsh. And that's the other side of the ground. Away it goes to the mid-wicket area. There's a fieldsman there, but he won't reach it. Into the fence for 4. Leave it to Gilmore, and he's bowled. Bowled at 16. Australia 7 for 279. All to Lilly. And that's a catch to Amos. Yes, Amos has taken it. Lilly's out, and it's 8 for 353. And here's McCosker swathed in bandages with March approaching his century. Leave it to McCosker. And he's hooked the short ball. It's coming down to the boundary, and that will make it 8 for 387. It stumps on the 3rd day. So Marsh is 99. And that could be it. This is off the pad. They've gone through for 1. Let's see what happens. The umpire is indicating that's his 100. Rod Marsh has made history in cricket. The first Australian keeper, the only player so far in the centenary test, and that's 2 records he's broken in this very match. A wicket-keeping record for Australia, and now a batting record for Australia. The first man in history, an Australian keeper, to get a century in a test, and he's done it in the centenary. Chappell has declared it 9 for 419, leaving England 463 to win. Frank Tyson and Bill Lawry.
What about Hooks? I'm interested to hear what you think about Hooks, because he seems to be an intriguing sort of player, hitting the ball on the up and timing it beautifully.
Well, he's so much like Graham Pike, it doesn't matter. He's only a young lad playing his first test match, but he doesn't move his feet all that well, but his head's always over the ball, and this is vital for a young player. He plays very straight. He was under tremendous pressure today. I thought he handled the situation very well. He was nervous to start with. He settled down and he drove. And for a young player to come in your first test match and drive the ball in the air to the outfield is a real touch of class. If ever a young player brought this crowd alight and the game, it was David Hooks.
And it's my delight to speak to Sir Leonard Hutton, who in England in 1938 scored 364 runs, which still remains the highest individual score in an Anglo-Australian series. At the same time, England declared with a total of 7 for 903. And no doubt, Sir Leonard, that brings back many happy memories to you.
Yes, it was my 3rd test match, I think, against Australia. And as a boy of 14 years of age, I saw Don Bradman make 334 at Leeds in 1930. So Don Bradman became a hero of mine, along with Jack Hobbs and Herbert Sutcliffe and these players. So in 1938, there was I at the Oval in this situation, beating this record that was made by a hero of mine, Don Bradman. The very first bat that I had was a Don Bradman bat. So it was with mixed feelings that I actually made this huge score, yes.
And as history records, Sir Leonard, I think Sir Donald was the first to come along and shake you by the hand.
Yes, that is true. He was fairly close to the wicket, and his congratulations were very sincere, and it was a great thrill for me to have him come along. Immediately I managed to hit this 4 to beat his own record.
So there we go. Bob Woolmer at the far end, taking guard, settling down, and waiting for Lily to come in to start off this England second innings. The first runs, turned very nicely off his legs by Woolmer, and he'll collect 2 runs for it. Well, I must say that surprised me. Woolmer's been given out LBW to a big in-swinger. And Barry's the man to know, but I think Woolmer might have been slightly disappointed. It swung a lot and it swung late, but it's Walker making the breakthrough right on the point of lunch. Of the total on 26.
Now this is Randall. Good shot, straight down the ground. That was a fine shot, went right under the middle of the sideboard. Now, could it be any straighter than that? Another fine shot, beautiful shot. Classic cover drive.
Lily's being brought back into the attack, and he's gone with a great deal of fire. And as soon as he comes back into the bowling lineup, you can feel the tension build up.
The 2 going for the shot, give himself a little bit of room. See the difference in the pace of the ball coming off that pitch to the first innings.
England at the moment need exactly 1 more run to equal their first innings total.
Oh, that's a great shot. Pulled away through mid-wicket. Very, very seldom, I think, that you see an Englishman being able to hook Lily in front of square. Great shot by Randall. Moves on now to 42. And he's got Ottaway all right this time. Beautifully played, square on the offside. And just reaching the boundary, and that 4 bring up the 100 for England. That's it, turned away nicely off his legs. It's the single, and goes through to 50. So the first 50 for an Englishman in the centenary test.
And how's that? It's out, yes. Really is out for 43. Amos, the man who has fallen so often to Dennis Lillee, coming now in a critical situation, 2 for 113. Lillee to Amos. And there was a chance just wide of the fieldsman. He'll get a couple. A chance and dropped. Oh, fine drive. Plays that shot so well. I think Davis can give that chase up. Randall 64, 2 for 147.
I must say that was a really good shot. Pick up the bat too high, but got into position nicely, tucked it away. There's the hook shot again. Swung away at that again, middled it quite nicely. Oh, an error there in the field. He's going to get runs again, which won't please earlier.
Well, this is a sterling fight back on the part of the England batsman. And much of it due now to Randall, who's on 87.
It's been a really excellent performance, this, by the young Knox player. Undefeated close of play here on 87, with Amos's partner on 34. 2 for 191, the score here.
Derek Randall's innings today has been the best innings of the Test match. I feel he's been under tremendous pressure. He's taken the attack to Dennis Lillee, and it's great to see a batsman realising he's just immortal and not some ghost. He's played up to Dennis Lillee, and he's won every round so far. Dennis Lillee's bounced him, and he's hooked well. He's hooked to the ground most times, and he's not to be shaken up by the experience of Dennis Lillee. Derek Randall is what England's been looking for since Ted Dexter, I feel, a batsman that can go in at 3 and is a confident player, play some shots and handle fast bowling, which is most important.
It's a tremendous feeling to be back in the game, because there's no doubt about the fact that this time yesterday we were really out of it, and with the way we collapsed in the first innings, really we didn't really have too much to look forward in the second innings, but we fought back, and it's tremendous to see that we've got a slim chance of making the runs.
And this match is in a very interesting stage, with England wanting 272 to win, 8 wickets in hand in 5 hours plus 15 overs. O'Keefe to Randall. A sweep shot there, yes, it's wide of Lillee. It's going down towards the boundary, and Lillee's after it. He may not get it. It's going to be close, but the ball wins. A fine shot. That's getting out towards the boundary. A chase for Cozier and Hooks. The two of them racing after it. They've taken 2 and turning for 3. Randall up to 95. And wide between the gap there again, going down to the boundary. He's gone to 99. And they're going for a run. That's his 100. Magnificent effort. Randall, Derek Randall, 100 in his first test against Australia. A very great effort indeed, and it's been a fine innings throughout. And that's hit him on the head. A bad one. Bad one. And there's an appeal there. The ball's gone to second slip and caught. Now the batsman is down.
Watch, it's quite short. It gets up rather quickly, this one. It's rather short, but he doesn't see it. You watch it. Gets right up high. Now he pulls everything away. Look, right on the head. It's a wonder he cap didn't fall on the wicket. It's a wonder he didn't fall on the wicket. Down he goes.
O'Keefe to Amos. He's placed that very well backward of square leg, and that's going out towards the fence. And that takes Amos to 49. Chappell to Amos. That's his 50. Chappell to Randall. No ball. And down it goes to backward square leg. A chase there for Walker. He won't get it. And into the fence for 4 more. Lillee to Randall. These are all smiles. Chappell to Amos. He's bowled. Amos is out for 64. That's 166 partnership. England 3 for 279. Lillee to Randall. They're through for a single, and Randall 150. Fletcher facing Lillee. A chance, and caught by Marsh. Yes, he's out. Caught behind. Fletcher out for 1. 4 for 290. 173 to win. And here's Greg to face Lillee.
Wickets have gone, and as we pointed out, the whole change of scenery here at the Melbourne ground, and the crowd in the background are roaring, and Lillee comes into his great adversary, which is Tony Craig.
And what a greeting he got. Over pitch ball, foot right down the pitch, hammered away through extra cover for 4. So the challenge is on. So England 4 down now, 2 quick wickets gone since lunch, the total on 294. As the over-pitch ball is driven again with power through the covers. Just sufficient to beat the dive-in efforts of the fieldsman. First one is over-pitched, has been put firmly through mid-wicket. Not sufficient power to go all the way, but those 2 runs to Tony Greig move him into double figures and bring up the 300 for England. He's beaten for a second time, and Greg Chappell asking, and he's given him out. And it's Rodney Marsh. Yes, agreeing, there was some doubt initially as to whether that ball had carried, but the end of a marathon performance there. And is he being recalled? There's some doubt as to whether that ball carried. And I've an idea that Rod Marsh initially said he didn't think it carried. The umpire gave him out. He's coming now to consult with Max O'Connell, the other umpire, and they've told him to stay.
Randall 161, 4 for 324, 139 to win. And through the field, a beautiful shot. And that goes into the fence for 4. Randall moves to 167. The arrival here in Melbourne of Her Majesty the Queen. First presentation, Mr. and Mrs. Ray Steele, presented to Her Majesty. And then Mr. Steele in turn will present various other officials. That's Mr. David Richards, the Secretary of the BCA, and Mrs. Richards, Mr. Bob Parrish, who's the Chairman of the Australian Cricket Board, and Mrs. Parrish, there's the Royal Ensign, as Her Majesty and the party move into the Melbourne Cricket Ground for the royal arrival. In the meantime, there's been no fall of wicket. Walker from this end to bowl to Randall. And through the covers, what a glorious shot. He thrashed that through as a fine cover driver. And the field for it caught, he's walked. He's gone. Randall caught by Cozier. Well, there's a bit of poetic justice. Cozier taking an absolutely brilliant catch of the bowling O'Keefe. And there's a wonderful innings. I'm sure this man will get a standing ovation for this extraordinary performance of scoring 174. One of the finest innings we've seen in years and years on this Melbourne ground. And the player, Derek Randall. Everybody here is standing up to give him a tremendous ovation as he comes back to the pavilion after an absolutely fantastic knock.
Well, let's let the applause speak for itself.
O'Keefe, 1 for 73 to Bolton Knott. And the sweep shot, there's no one out there. It must be 4. They could run about 5 or 6 by the time the fieldsman gets there. And that is the tea adjournment. So at tea, 5 for 353. England requiring 110 to win the game. 5 wickets in hand with 1 session to go. And the players come across in front of the members' area.
Mr. Ray Steele now asks leave of Her Majesty to present to Her Majesty the manager of the England cricket team, Mr. Ken Barrington, subsequently Tony Greig, then Mike Brearley, then we have Dennis Amos, Graham Barlow, Jeff, that big one, that's Fletcher, Knott, Alan Knott, Chris Old, to Derek Underwood, and that looks like Bob Willis from the back, judging from his hair, and finally Mr. Bernie Thomas, the master of the side.
Her Majesty now coming across to meet Greg Chappell. Greg Chappell, a great moment for him to be presented to Her Majesty the Queen. Rodney Marsh, Ray Bright, Gary Cozier, Ian Davis, Gary Gilmore, David Hooks, the young lad who's done so well in his debut match, Dennis Lilly, Rick McCosker, Kerry O'Keefe, Richie Robinson, who's the acting 12th man, Max Walker, Doug Walters, umpire Tom Brooks and umpire Max O'Connell.
The final session of this centenary test is about to start, and it's been a wonderful game. And now England wanting just 109 in one session. Not an easy task by any means with the second half of the batting order there. The first 5 batsmen are out. And Greg and Knott, the last 2, I suppose, specialist batsmen, you would call them, they bat right down to Knott, the keeper. Oh. Where was that game? We'd have caught that, Keith. Well, that's gone out the mid-wicket area. And that had plenty on it. It's going into the fence for 4. He just lifted that right over the top of the fieldsman. 5 for 360, or 361. So 102 to go, and quite obviously by those 2 shots that England's going to try and win. And he's cracked that out towards the boundary. I think 4 more. A chase for hooks. He's after it. He will not get to it. No, it's into the fence for 4. And a foot caught, is he? Yes, he's out. Greg is caught by Cozier. Rolled O'Keefe for 41. 6 for 369. And this man there now old. He's one of the biggest hitters in the game if he gets going. He can really crack them. Lilly bowling. And a chance, he's out. Yes, Greg Chappell. 7 for 380. Lilly 3 for 120. Appeal for leg before, and he's out. Lever, leg before to O'Keefe for 4. 8 for 385.
That's a great shot. Volley, very powerfully threw mid on. We'll certainly take 3 runs this time. So the 400 coming up in the 4th innings of a test match, and that in itself quite an achievement, Keith. That's it, the over-pitch one. That's another vital breakthrough made by Dennis Lilly. So 9 men out of 410. Underwood going for 7.
Willis facing pressure. 3 men in catching positions.
Well, he too has decided that he's going to chase the runs. The first over survived by these 2. Leaving 14 overs still to go.
46 runs from those 14 overs required.
And that's it, it's LBW. Alan Knott is out. Lilly has struck again to finish off this test match. England all out for 417. Another great performance there by Lilly to see the end of England. And Australia triumphing by a margin of 45 runs.
At the original test match in 1877, the Australasian newspaper gave a trophy for the best bowling performance by a colonial bowler. I am delighted to announce that the colonial bowler who has won this magnificent trophy is Dennis Lilly.
I'd just like to say that it was a great test match. It couldn't have been more fitting for a centenary, and I'm just glad we won it. Very glad.
In 1877, the man of the match was undoubtedly Charles Bannerman. He did, in fact, receive a publicly subscribed cash award. In 1977, there is a cash award of $1,500 and a Benson and Hedges gold medallion to the player of the match, selected by a panel of 7. And their choice for the man of the match is the man that in his first test match made 174, Derek Randall.
Oh dear. I'd just like to thank everybody for being here. and thank you very much, sir, for the trophy. And before I leave, I'd just like to thank Dennis for the bump on the side of the head, actually. But, thanks very much indeed.
When someone asks me 10 years from now what my memories are of the centenary test match, I will say that it was a combination of a thrilling match, a royal pageant, and a stroll down memory lane. The game itself was almost an exact replica of the first game ever played between England and Australia on this historic Melbourne ground, with England losing again by 45 runs as they did in 1877. A lot of old England players will be going home disappointed, yet thrilled to the very marrow at seeing such a great spectacle, reviving old friendships with colleagues and opponents alike. This, I think, has been the Olympic Games of cricket, wonderfully organised by the Australian Cricket Board, the Victorian Cricket Association and the Melbourne Cricket Club. And let's just have a few words from Sir Donald Bradman on the subject of this centenary test.
Well, this must go down in history as one of the greatest test matches ever played. When it was originally organised, we realised that so many things could go wrong, the weather, anything at all. But it's been quite remarkable how the gods have favoured us. People probably wonder why the two teams' batting sort of folded a little bit in the first innings, but having been out there in the centre, I've never known a match where there was so much emotion in the air, and I believe this had a tremendous effect on the batsmen of both sides. They were so anxious to do well, the conditions were not easy. Of course, with batting, you've only got to make one small mistake, and that's that. I think they showed in the second innings when this emotion got out of their systems to some extent. That was the cause of the slow scores in the first innings in the main. It has been a remarkable match. There's been some very great cricket on the part of both teams, and I think everybody who's been at this match realises that they have participated in a most historic event. I personally am privileged that I've been here to see it, and it will go down in the record books as one of the great sporting events of all time.